This week on ATV News, the United States drops a large non-nuclear bomb on Afghanistan, President Trump signs legislation defunding Planned Parenthood, and Netflix series 13 Reasons Why captures the nation one tape at a time. I'm Mariah Spada.
And I'm Alexis Arnold.
ATV News starts now. Four students were injured during an explosion at the University of Idaho on Thursday night. The students, three of which are majoring in engineering, suffered major injuries and were transported to Gritman's Medical Center after the rocket they were testing exploded. The intent of the experiment was to test the rocket's fuel power and observe the way it burned. Unfortunately, it didn't go as planned as the students accidentally launched the rocket projectile into the air. The students were all part of the Northwest organization, which designs rockets to build and test. Officials are confused, however, as to why the experiment took place on campus and not in a more appropriate place. The college is not releasing the identity of the individuals until the investigation is complete, and they have noted that one of the students was wearing protective gear over their face during the experiment. As of Friday morning, they have all been let out of surgery and are communicating with campus personnel as they battle their slow recovery.
A benefits and pension manager at Howard University has been convicted. She pleaded guilty to embezzling more than $420,000 from the pension accounts of other employees. The former manager altered the accounts and sent the payments to herself. The court ordered her to pay back the money and sentenced her to serve a year and a day in prison. For the latest in entertainment news, let's go to Chelsea Fosu.
Thanks, Alexis. I'm Chelsea Fosu with Entertainment News. Coachella, one of the most anticipated annual music festivals, officially kicked off on Friday, April 14th. Several artists performed on the first day of the two-weekend festival, including Mac Miller, Radiohead, and Dram. I'm sure many festival goers are looking forward to Kendrick Lamar's set after the release of his latest album earlier this week. There's even speculation that he could release another album this weekend during the festival. We will have to wait and see what he has in store. Speaking of waiting, this weekend marks a decade since a solo woman has billed as a headliner on the Coachella stage. However, Lady Gaga will be making history this weekend as headliner, ending the decade-long wait. Janet Jackson shared the first photo of her baby boy more than 3 months ago after his birth. The A-list performer captioned the photo on her website saying, "My baby boy and me after nap time." Despite her going through a divorce, it is clear that she is enjoying motherhood. Also this week, Kylie Jenner raved fans and followers with her new look. The reality television star showed up for Coachella with neon green hair and, of course, a green mini dress to match. She looked amazing. In the latest episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kim eased back into spotlight but had to deal with upsetting news about her husband, Kanye West. During the episode, Khloe is pressured to restore her relationship with Caitlyn Jenner, and Rob has his first daughter. Make sure to stay tuned every Sunday at 9 p.m. on E! To keep up with our favorite reality family. That's it for entertainment. I'm Chelsea Fosu. Back to Mariah and Alexis in the studio.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Alexis, I don't know about you, but I have such crazy Coachella FOMO. Not that I've ever been there, so I don't know what I'm missing out on, but I can only imagine it's so amazing over there in California right now.
I know, I would totally love to go, but I know I definitely can't. But I am going to a New York festival.
Oh, which one?
Governor's Ball.
No way, I actually have tickets to Governor's Ball as well.
Oh, that's totally awesome. I know I'll definitely see you there.
I'm looking forward to that. A New York judge was found dead this Wednesday in the Hudson River. The body was identified as 65-year-old Sheila Abdus-Salam. Judge Abdus-Salam was the first African-American woman to serve on New York State's highest court. Detectives have said that there were no apparent injuries to her body and that her death did not appear to be criminal in nature. Law enforcement sources believe the death was a possible suicide. In fact, it's been released that her brother committed suicide 3 years ago around this time of year. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo tweeted Thursday, quote, "Justice Sheila Abdus-Salam was a trailblazing jurist and a force for good. On behalf of all New Yorkers, I extend my deepest sympathies," end quote. The medical examiners are determining the cause of death. Now, we go into politics with Moal Sidi.
Thanks, Mariah. I'm Moal Sidi with this week's Politics Report. Trump signed legislation on Thursday that cuts funding to clinics that perform abortions. The legislation allows states to withhold Title X funds, which are designated for low-income individuals to receive family planning and preventative health services. In 2015, more than 4 million individuals relied on Title X grants to receive services at over 4,000 clinics across the U.S. Many conservative anti-abortion groups applauded the decision, which would significantly diminish funding for clinics such as Planned Parenthood. The situation between the U.S. and North Korea is getting tenser by the day. North Korea has accused Donald Trump of trying to cause trouble with his, quote, aggressive tweets. Last week, Trump tweeted, "If China decides to help, that would be great. If not, we will solve the problem without them." China has encouraged both the U.S. and North Korea to avoid any possible conflict, especially since both powers have nuclear weapons. A federal judge issued an order preventing Arkansas from executing 7 inmates by the end of April. Governor Hutchinson scheduled the executions to occur before the state's supply of one of its lethal injections expires. Judge Wendell Griffin issued a temporary ruling that prevents the state from executing inmates. If the state carried out the execution, that would have been considered the most inmates executed in a short period of time. That's it for politics. I'm Moal Sidi, and back to Mariah and Alexis at the desk.
Thanks, Moal.
This Planned Parenthood, like the pro-life, pro-choice situation is such a difficult debate, but I don't really think that defunding such an important service is really, a great idea for like the women of the country.
Alexis, I couldn't agree more. I can't believe this news that Moal is sharing. I honestly can't believe it. And as fellow women, I mean, this seriously is affecting us. And I could only think, like, what would happen under, Hillary's administration? How different would it be? What would be the fate of Planned Parenthood? So it's difficult that we have to live with these circumstances right now.
But it's the only good thing about it is that it makes everyone fight harder for things that they really care
Absolutely.
about.
So get out there and continue fighting.
Arturo DeModica, creator of the Wall Street Charging Bull, says the recently erected Fearless Girl statue is an insult to his work. DeModica dislikes the face-off between the two works of art because it takes away from the positive meaning of his own statue. He has demanded the removal of the girl, but the firm who commissioned the statue stands by its message of female empowerment. It received so much social media attention that New York Mayor Bill de Blasio has allowed the statue to stay until next International Women's Day. He showed his support by saying that the Fearless Girl is inspiring everyone at a time when we need inspiration.
Now we go to sports with Corey Flax.
Thanks, Mariah. I'm Corey Flax with this week's sports update. It's playoff time in our nation's capital. The Capitals and the Wizards have the opportunity to bring home a championship to the greater Washington area for the first time since 1991. The Caps, who had the NHL's best regular season record, made a comeback victory, sealing the deal against the number 8 seed Toronto Maple Leafs in overtime to take a 1-0 series lead. Tom Wilson scored the game winner with a wrist shot just over 3 minutes into overtime. The Caps have struggled in recent years in the postseason, but are expected to get past the second round this year. The Wizards, who won 49 games this season, earned home court advantage for the first round of the playoffs against the 5th-seeded Atlanta Hawks. The Southeastern Conference foes battled it out on the hardwood 4 times during the regular season, with the Wizards winning 3 of those matchups. To move on to the second round, the Wizards must find a way to stop Atlanta center Dwight Howard, who averaged over 13 points and 12 boards this season. On Saturday, the MLB celebrated baseball legend Jackie Robinson, who 70 years ago broke the color barrier as Major League Baseball's first African-American player. Robinson's number was universally retired across Major League Baseball in 1997. Every year on, since April 15th, 2004, all Major League Baseball players wear number 42 on the diamond in honor of the man who opened the doors for so many that dreamed of playing professional baseball. Let's turn to the Washington Nationals. The Nats started the season with a record of 6-4. The team has been led by second baseman Daniel Hitz Murphy. He's batting .444, has had a hit in each game this season, and on Friday drove in Bryce Harper with a deep double to right field in the 10th to a walk-off victory against the Phillies. For ATV Sports, I'm Corey Flax. Back to Mariah and Alexis in the studio.
Thanks, Corey.
Alexis, I don't know as much about hockey as I would love to, especially because I love Canada, so I think it's something that I should maybe start picking up on.
Yeah, my friend was at the most recent Caps game, so I'll definitely have to ask her how that went, but I think we should take a trip to Canada.
Oh my god, if we took a trip to Canada, I think our sports anchor, Corey, would really be excited about us learning about hockey.
Oh, definitely.
Now we go to Emily Lytle for a report on the Right to Party Carnival.
Hi, this is Emily Lytle reporting for ATV News. We're here on the quad today for the Right to Party Carnival event. It is hosted by AU Wellness Center as well as ZBT. They're partnering with local DC organizations to raise awareness for Sexual Awareness Month.
So my name is Jamie Driscoll. I'm a junior. I'm a peer wellness educator with the Wellness Center, and I'm one of the organizers of Right to Party.
Okay, great, thank you. So do you mind just giving us a little overview of what's happening here today and what the role of the Wellness Center is in putting this all on?
Yeah, so what you can see here is a big carnival for consent. We have a ton of events for Sexual Assault Awareness Month, but we think that having a big event like this on the quad is really important because it draws all kinds of people together. We have people from a lot of different Greek organizations and other student orgs in the dunk tank and walking through the quad on the way to classes. And it's really a great way to get out the message to a much larger group of people than would normally come to our events.
So Right to Party was started about 2 years ago with the goal in mind of opening up a conversation to give students a different and fun way to talk about consent, to talk about respect, and a lot of things that are happening on college campuses today. And with that, we've decided to create it as a fundraiser. Last year, we raised over $1,000 for a network of victim recovery for DC. We continue to do that here today. So we're really proud to be working with the Wellness Center on this event and supporting them in their upcoming ones. The biggest one next week will be Title IX Tacos, where they'll be continuing that conversation and the dialogue, also including tacos in the event, which is great. And throughout the month, they've got a few other events that are really keeping that conversation here on campus and giving students the opportunity to learn more and participate in what's going on.
For ATV News, I'm Emily Lytle.
Thanks, Emily.
I think it's so awesome that the Wellness Center is doing all this stuff on campus and making the topic of consent really interesting for the students.
I could not agree more, Alexis, and I think it's really cool that the Wellness Center has things that aren't so dull and dry. I mean, they have some interactive stuff for us at the quad, so I know I missed this year, but I'm hoping they do something like that next year.
I'm sure they definitely will, and like talking about consent openly on campus makes everything so much safer. I really appreciate it.
A new Netflix series has taken the internet by storm. Many are saying that the show 13 Reasons Why is the best original drama series the site has made in years. The show is actually based on a J. Asher novel about a young girl that commits suicide, but leaves a series of tapes for her high school friends explaining the 13 reasons why she ended her life. Each episode reveals a new suspenseful tape that leaves viewers wanting to binge watch for hours. The show first received major attention from Selena Gomez fans, also known as Selenators, as she is an executive producer for what she calls a passion project. So if you haven't been a part of the madness yet, be sure to grab some popcorn and tissues and enjoy the ride.
Melania Trump won her defamation lawsuit against the Daily Mail. The tabloid newspaper apologized to the First Lady for making false claims about her working as an escort during her modeling career. The Daily Mail retracted their article and will pay Trump $2.9 million in damages. The English tabloid is considered generally unreliable and has paid damages to other celebrities, including Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling and musician Elton John.
For this week's Finance Report, we turn to Riddhi Sarkar.
Thanks, Mariah. I'm Riddhi Sarkar with this week's Finance Report. United Continental's shares fell by 4% over the course of the week. The fall in stock prices comes after the airline forcibly removed a passenger from one of its planes last Sunday due to a shortage of seats on the flight. United's stock ended up at $69 on Thursday, reducing the company's market cap by $770 million. United CEO Oscar Munoz, who has faced criticism regarding the handling of the situation, could also lose up to at least $500,000 in compensation if United customer satisfaction falls. New applications for U.S. unemployment benefits recorded their biggest drop in nearly 2 years last week. The Labor Department said on Thursday that the initial jobless claims fell by 1,000 to 234,000, a good sign for the U.S. labor market. And finally, Tesla briefly became the largest U.S. car maker by market capitalization this week. The electric car company's shares jumped nearly 3% on Thursday. This comes after CEO Elon Musk said the company expects to unveil its planned commercial truck in September. Meanwhile, Tesla's shares have surged 41% to record highs this year. And that does it for This Week in Finance. I'm Riddhi Sarkar for ATV News. Now back to Mariah and Alexis in the studio.
Thanks, Riddhi.
I don't know about you, Mariah, but I am absolutely disgusted that this event took place.
I mean, after last week's Pepsi scandal, I really didn't think a company could top that. And now we have this United incident. I mean, it's really disappointing. And Alexis, I don't know about you, but can you really see yourself like taking a United flight after this? This was a big deal.
You know, Mariah, I really want to say no, and because this is just such a ridiculous incident, but there are so few airlines, it's so hard to, try to go to the other competition. I really wanted to try not to take any United flights.
Well, I'll be on that Delta flight, and for anyone that's going to be with you in this United, I wish you the best of luck. Now let's see what's happening around the world with Corey Flax.
Thanks, Mariah. I'm Corey Flax with your World News Report. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson traveled to Moscow this week, where on Wednesday, he met for 2 hours with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Tillerson and Putin met to discuss the public disagreement that the United States and Russia have on Syria. In a joint press conference with Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, Tillerson and Lavrov had vastly different opinions about who was responsible for the chemical weapons attack in rebel territory in Syria, which killed 80 civilians, including young children. During the press conference, Tillerson publicly admitted how low the relationship between the United States and Russia has fallen since the military strike on the Syrian Arms Air Base on April 7th. Tillerson also clarified that the United States' position that the future of Syria does not include the current Syrian president, Bashar al-Assad. Syrian President Assad stated on Thursday that any suggestion that he was at fault for the chemical weapons attack was 100% fabricated, and that he had ordered the destruction of Syria's stockpile of the chemical weapons after a 2013 agreement negotiated by Russia. Transitioning to the ongoing fight against the Islamic State, on Thursday, United States forces dropped the largest non-nuclear bomb known as Moab in the Nangarhar province of Afghanistan. The bomb, which has been nicknamed the mother of all bombs, weighs over 21,000 pounds. The target of the operation was a tunnel and path used by the Islamic State, which had significantly limited U.S. and Afghani forces from moving forward in the ground fight against the terrorist organization. This is the first time the bomb has been used by U.S. forces in combat. This bomb comes at a time of instability and chaos in Afghanistan, as not only the Islamic State, but also Al-Qaeda and the Taliban control territory within Afghan soil. It seems most likely that the United States will have a strong and public presence in Afghanistan for years to come. The Obama administration made an agreement with the Afghan armed forces that keeps the partnership between the two countries active in Afghanistan until 2024. Currently, 8,400 U.S. troops are stationed in Afghanistan. For ATV World News, I'm Corey Flax. Back to Mariah and Alexis at the desk.
Thanks, Corey.
I cannot believe that Trump is getting so directly involved in the Syrian conflict. I mean, during his campaign, he was so America first. We're not going to intervene, and now we are really in the mix.
I mean, I could not be more surprised. Every week, it's just something new. And when I got this notification about what's going on, I was heartbroken. I mean, we are always talking about, Syrians and specifically the refugees and trying to do refugee initiatives here. And it's really hard when you hear about these crazy things that are going on. So I'm pretty disappointed.
I'm also concerned that he may flip-flop on his other policies. We're definitely gonna have to watch and see what develops in the future. But looking at his promises is definitely gonna have to be much more closely.
At this point, we don't know, but tune into ATV next week and we may have an update. One man has embarked on a quest for Wendys chicken nuggets. Carter Wilkinson of Reno, California asked Wendys on Twitter how many retweets he would have to get in order to win a year's worth of chicken nuggets. They told him he needed to reach 18 million and he accepted their challenge. Wilkinson currently has 2.9 million retweets, but has realized obtaining more retweets would be borderline impossible. Ellen DeGeneres' Oscar selfie currently has the record for most retweets at 3.3 million. Wilkinson has attempted to renegotiate and hopes Wendys will cut him a break.
President Trump enjoyed the most delicious piece of chocolate cake at his private Mar-a-Lago resort this week. In an interview with Fox Business News about his meeting with Chinese President Xi, Trump raved about the delicious dessert he ate while approving the launch of 59 Tomahawk missiles at the Syrian air base, which carried out a chemical weapons attack. Now for our weather report, we go to Nadia Slocum.
Thanks, Alexis. I'm Nadia Slocum with this week's weather forecast. The weather this past week has been beautiful and warm and at some points a little sticky. As the semester comes to a close, it feels like spring might actually be here. This week promises more warm weather, but also the humidity and pollen that comes with it. So if you have the occasional sniffles and coughs that come with allergy season, you might not want to sniff the daisies this week. On Monday, expect a high of 74 degrees and a low of 51 degrees, with partly cloudy skies for most of the day. On Tuesday, expect slightly cooler temperatures with a high of 69 degrees and a low of 49 degrees. On Wednesday, expect cloudy skies with a high of 67 degrees and a low of 57 degrees, with potential rain showers in the afternoon. On Thursday, expect showers in the early morning with a high of 77 degrees and a low of 57 degrees. On Friday, expect partly cloudy skies with a high of 76 degrees and a low of 52 degrees. Expect sunshine next week with highs in the 70s. I'm Nadia Slocum with your weekly weather forecast. Have a great week. Back to the studio with Mariah and Alexis.
Thanks, Nadia. So, Alexis, I don't know if you've noticed, but I am a little more tan right now because of last week's great weather. I was out on the quad, soaking in the sun rays. So I'm excited to hear that Nadia is saying that, there's some good weather to still look forward to.
Yeah, and besides my allergies, this is definitely my favorite time of year. The sun, the flowers, it's so beautiful, and I just love it.
Yeah, we'll see you guys out on the quad.
That's it for ATV News this week. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I'm Alexis Arnold.
And I'm Mariah Spada. Thanks for watching.